I don't know what that means, but okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I can go ahead now. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, when we get things like that, it disturbs us. What am I doing wrong? When I was with WPC and Matthew, like, okay, when I was first learning how to do all this stuff, we go, oh, what am I doing wrong? But anyway, the big thing that we're doing now is living in University Park. And I noticed Matthew said that. We don't get too far from University Park. Those of us who've been around here a long time. Now, we when I moved here, I want to tell you, we had looked at some other properties in other places, and I really wanted to live over in another spot here, but I couldn't get a house in it. So when we saw Riegel Farm and the things that were going on up there and what they had planned and all that, we decided, okay, we're going to build our house here. And that's what my husband, Steve, and I decided to do. We just loved it because we were from the city, but Riegel Farm provided, because I'm like a country girl and he is he's a city guy, but we could go to the city of Chicago, have fun and do all those things and raise our children right here at Riegel Farm. And so we decided to settle right here. And I've loved it ever since. And when it closed down, uh, I've been a little bit upset and downtrodden because of it. But now we're trying to get it back again. And I'm so happy about it. And I personally would like to see a community center. We don't have one. Most of the other cities around here have one where we can do multiple things like it was before. I don't know about the animals. Animals are a lot of work, but what I would like to do is to spend my time working with the rest of the people here in University Park in a community center and making it all that it can be, as it was before for so many people. I mean, who wouldn't want, I was just like tonight, Matthew said, oh yeah, he grew up here and we know him and it's kind of warming to your heart to go see him and see kids do some good things rather than just watching them on TV, but they come back and do some things here. But what I would like to see is that particular property be what it is to me, to everybody here, and it'd be something for everyone, and it's something that everyone wants, not something that I want or whatever, just one person in my opinion. So what I wanted to do is I asked Miss Millie and Donna if I could possibly get on and ask the listening audience out there, and you all don't realize, but you got quite a few people listening and watching it, but to send in what you would like to see at Riegel Farm. It is definitely a jewel. Some of us don't realize it, but Riegel Farm is great. You just don't know it. And before somebody, it's not going to be what I want. Let's just make it a community center, what everyone wants. I got ideas, what I would like to see there. Millie might have ideas what she would like to see there, Donna, but we've got to make it a good place for our children. And that's what Steve and I thought. Steve is my husband. And that's what we thought. This was someplace for our children could go. And like I say, these people, whenever around my daughter, if they see somebody, they go, girl, where do you know him from? We used to hang out at Riegel Farm. I meet some grown folks my ear, they go, oh, yeah, they hung out at Riegel Farm. We didn't have to worry about them. They were close to home. It's a wholesome type of thing. So first of all, I'm going to say this. Again, my name is Mary Truss. It's spelled Truss. So my email is mtruss, the number 50 at sbcglobal.net. And if you would send me some of the ideas that you would like to see there, what we want to do is a group of us, and we are combined with people all over the village, and some of us are members of the Community Block Club. And what we'd like to do is put these ideas together so everybody can enjoy something up there or have something that they would like to have. And if we, a group of us get together and bring these things forward, people like Matthew, we could have Matthew come in there. And listening to him, I thought about an idea of having, someone asked him about how do you know how to do this, and how do you know how to do that, and when you know how to do this and that. Okay, what about him giving a workshop? Who knows? One of your children or grandchildren might want to be a comedian, and they might not know they don't know how to do it, or give them a start. Matthew can give a workshop on it. And who knows? I mean, instead of calling the kids silly, just like you said, or the class clown, he'd turn out to be a millionaire like Kevin Hart. I'm sure Kevin Hart it wasn't always as good as he is some of the times. But we need ideas. This can't be one person's idea. This has to be an idea for everyone so that we all can enjoy this piece of property that we pay taxes on that was given to us. Exactly. This was given to us, and we should not tear it down because it is a historical landmark. And it's not just one piece of the property up there that is historical. There are other things up there that are historical. And I spent my time researching it with the Will County office over there, and that's when I found out. Now, I'm going to say it again. Send your ideas on what we should have up there and what you would like to see to MTRUSS, the number 50 at sbcglobal.net, or send it to Community Zoom. We're all in this together. It needs to be a community center for everyone.
If I could just expound on what you talked about earlier, I thought it was a wonderful idea that you talked about group rappers and how did you say, how was it?
What if we had, can you imagine having, raps were not in way back in the day, but rap is in now.
Yeah.
And what if we had a rapping contest?
Yes.
And we could have a contest with the number one rapper being a man, and rap her. Yes. The number one rapper meaning a girl.
Yes.
We don't do a lot in this town, I noticed, for girls.
That sounds good.
It sounds real good. And I told Millie about whenever you go to Prairie State, notice what goes on outside or anywhere around. There's a group of young people out rapping, and they take turns rapping and do all kinds of things. And we could put these kinds of things together. We could put a show. Now, my idea thing that I would love to see is you always have something that nobody else has. Downtown, they have that place called where they do improv and all that
right,
theaters and whatever. But what's wrong with us having the porch? Everybody makes its debut on the porch. And that's your stage on the porch. We can have outside. We can sit out in the summertime. We can put out a tent. We can do all kinds of things and have people perform right there. In the wintertime, I know the funds that supposedly that that the government gave to us, the Senator Joyce and Ms. Patinas and all, they wanted specific things done up there. So we can't just blow the money on anything.
Right.
They want that tennis court resurfaced, and they want that baseball field up there redone. They want that place cleaned up. They didn't say tear down anything. Some of those buildings up there do have to come down. But can you imagine the house? I looked that up recently. The house was built in 1900.
Wow.
Where is the historical society in this town? Do we have one?
No.
Not that I know of.
We don't have one. When Penny Cricht was here, she started gathering some things in the library, but there's not something put together here for us to know, but that is noteworthy, other than things like Riegel Farm, some of those things put together. But I noticed these other towns have them. Why don't we have one?
Yeah.
Monique has one now. It's in that little building down by the baseball field and the courthouse there. It's in that building. Park Forest has one that got so large is they rent 3 classrooms from St. Mary's for their historical society.
Mhm.
Why couldn't that house have be a historical society? And why could it not be open for people to tour through there to see the different things, the pictures and the things that has happened in this village? And when this village were, we went from Wood Hill to Park Forest South and now University Park. But that's what we've got to do, because if we don't get together with something that we can present or something we can bring together for our children, and it'll be a shelter for our children to enjoy, just as my children have grown up. And a lot of other people, look at Matthew. He's been around here, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't think since he was a certain age, I don't think we've ever had a parade in this town that Matthew did not
Absolutely.
film or put together. And I will mention that, I don't know if I should mention that other person, and that would be his wife. She was too. She was right there. She was one of the young broadcasters as well.
Yes.
So these are that's a good start for us now, and we can carry it forth, but it's got to be everybody's ideas. It can't just be mine. I have an idea on here, maybe good today and gone tomorrow, but it's got to be something for everybody, and we just cannot leave these girls out, please.
Yes. Mary, I wonder, you talked about a historical site. I wonder, how can we get pictures of yesteryear? Where are those pictures from pertaining to Riegel Farm? How can we accumulate? Where do we get that information from? I just wonder.
Okay, now there are some boxes over there, and there is one person that knows where some of these things are. Now I remember, I won't call the person's name, packed up a lot of that stuff, and I asked that person, where did you do with it? What happened to it? Some of them was antique things, and some were pictures of different things. And that person told me they had put it in storage. Now, where, I don't know. Now, in the library, in the back room behind the, there used to be where the people come into the library, meaning the new library. There were some pictures in there. And the other thing is, we got to grab all this information before people leave, like Miss Burgess.
Yeah.
She had a lot of things, and she knew a lot of things. There may be a picture of the clerk, D. Jones. She has the other things, many of the other things, like when it was when we first started. Um, Mr. Elba Shaw, he can direct us where some of it is, but what little bit we have, a lot of us have this information in our homes.
Mhm.
And the other thing is the county.
I think it's a good idea that, and it's almost in my mind a rush thing, that we hurry up and gather that information before it's lost for good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because once it's lost, I mean, after some of us go,
Mm-hmm.
not going to have the love or the memories or information, historical information, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so it needs to be established almost like yesterday.
As soon as possible.
Mhm.
Now, I gathered my information from the Will County Clerk's office. The information on historical, but I
Mhm.
don't have pictures. I think Dee Jones may have a picture of different things. I know she has the date. It was incorporated. This village was incorporated back at a time too. She should have that too, because the clerk's office, our clerk's office as well as the Will County clerk's office has this information.
Okay.
But pictures and the time where things went on here, all these kinds of things should be placed there. We had artifacts, and we can still utilize these buildings with putting some of these things that we don't have to put the rare, say you had a rare corn, you might not want to put the rare corn on display. You might want to take a picture of it and put it on the wall and put it on display.
Mhm.
So that'll be another request or ask that you're asking for, Mary Truss, is
Yes. Mm-hmm.
those individuals within a community that has been here for a long time, has collected pictures and different things. They can also email you that information or reach out to you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Discuss that so we can all get it, like Mildred was saying, compile into one location. So when that time comes, if it does become a historical society, you'll be ready to act. So
Okay.
whenever you know, so please send that information to Ms. Truss. You can also send it to the community Zoom, u.p.communityzoom@gmail.com. You can send it
Yes.
to us or reach out to anybody us on here on the call or just other people, and that you
Mm-hmm.
know that might have pictures of different events that occurred the yesteryears, and so we can get it all together, because we definitely would love that information.
Mhm.
Ms. Truss, could you also state, because you were saying you wanted people to send in what they would want for Riegel Farm or suggestions, but tell us exactly how many buildings is it? What are they? Is not just a house. What else should they be saying that they want over there?
Anything, they can't tear down anything up there without permission
Well, not to say
from.
tear down. How many buildings is it now that they're talking about? Because you know it's just a house. For some people, thinking it's just a house, but it's other buildings that could be used for utilized for other things. So they need to like know how many actual facilities or buildings is it over there that they're trying to figure out what to do with.
Okay, right now, they have decided to, the people that procure the money for us, they've decided that the tennis court must be, that was one of the things that they wanted redone. And now the history on that uh, was that was built recently since um, that's a newer, that in that smaller barn in the back, I call it the 2003 barn because it was built in 2003. Now, most of these things should be at the code enforcement office. They usually would have these things because anything that is done to property or anything that's put together should end up as it reflects that property uh, at the county clerk's office. I know they did some work near my house back here, and we had to all sign off on it, all drawn up and everything, and it's all at the recorder of deeds.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Anything that needs to be done, it has to go through the right proper authorities and measures. But I'm saying, like, for instance, you said the 2003 barn, let people know that, hey, it's a 2003 barn that's about so and so. What would you think you would want that to be? Okay,
That's right. Okay, that's a good
house. Right.
Very good. The newest barn in the back, what would you like to see happen in that house, in that barn?
Right.
That is the small barn in the back.
Okay. And then what are the other ones?
The other one is the baseball. Well, a baseball field is a baseball field, and
right.
that is specified, and resurfacing the tennis court, that's specified, and the house is an add-on to what they didn't specify that, but you have to read. But that's one of the houses that you cannot tear down as well. That's not, that's all part of the historical site there. And then there's two other main things that are historical, but I've been asked not to say what it is, because we don't want anybody to destroy those things, because they have a habit for some reason of destroying things up there. So they told me just leave it alone. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I know that's a question that Trustee Jenkins and Robin, we were talking about earlier this week, how we were, asking or requesting for her to try to ask and get together, not ask, but to say, let's get this committee, like the same thing that you're saying, to come together, to get this committee so everybody could be on page, or have different residents, whatever, elected officials, volunteer, whoever, to get on this committee to say, hey, this is what the residents are asking for, especially if they send you different results or questions, and say, I would like this, I would like that. This is what I think it should be done to it. And so we at least know what that information is, instead of we just relying just on the village to try to decide what they want. We want to make sure that there's some type of committee. And I know that's something that you talked about, and they're trying to work on getting, and we need to get that soon so we can have something already in place before they start to do all of this remodeling.
Okay, now that's what this is all about. That's what I'm doing.
Yep.
I have decided that that is the one thing that I will volunteer my time for, and because that is the one thing that I really have put in a lot of work on. I've been working with since they closed it down, trying to restore it, and working with it. So whether I put together some people to work with me who have the expertise, and I've laid out some things that I see. And we're going to also put this information out and ask for recommendations and from other people in the village. We're going to put it out on Nextdoor as well. Just send in the information. And when we get a certain amount of the information, we're going to put it out there so the people can see what the results was, what the people want.
Right. And then
one thing we want to do is circulate. I plan to also circulate something within the community, because it is a function for the whole village in this. It would serve everybody, but we must always, I think, in my opinion, is think about the people nearest to the farm. There have been things and adjustments that were made in the past that affected the resident that is closest to this, and meaning the people who live there, who live in the area. We certainly don't want somebody to come in and put up a huge building there, maybe something I've seen. We don't want that because people live there. Their homes are there. They can affect the value of their homes. The basketball goals were moved down to Olmsted Park because of the noise around the homes. And that was one agreement that and changed the area down there. Now we're working on this part. I will probably, because I like the outdoors, some people know that I walk outdoors. I will probably, I like the outdoors and the water. I will probably be working on anything that somebody comes up with that is decent and it's good for the village and that the children and adults can use. That's why a community center, something that everyone can use, would be a good idea to have here.
But community center for, you talking about for that house?
No, for are you just speaking of the house? No, for the whole area.
For the whole area, right? So you're saying for the community center, which might consist of building something over there. Okay, that's
but or in the future or whatever. See, there's plenty park room for growth here because Olmsted Park is not finished.
Right.
And there's room for growth in Olmsted Park if you want to build something. But what we have up there now, we have to do this in steps. So we have got to do something for that tennis court and the baseball field, the house and the barn, the smaller barn in the back in the house. Now I've got all kinds of ideas. Millie and I talked about all kinds of ideas of things we would like to see there today.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it for a while. I've got together some people that to work with me because I didn't know what you guys were doing, but I know I've been working on it ever since they closed it. And I'm not going to stop working on it.
So when you get some of these suggestions from the residents, are you going to communicate this information to the board, to trustees, so they'll be aware as well, because they are the ones that's going to be also in the process of deciding what gets done?
Well, exactly. I am going, when I get these ideas, I would definitely go to the board because, you know, it is they would be the final choice, but we are the residents who pay the taxes here.
Right.
As well. So we are the people here that live here and that need, that would make use of the property.
Right, but
not only just that property, any other property here in the village. And it's time that we have to speak up. Baby
right.
doesn't, you don't know that a baby is wet or crying, why the baby's crying until you seek to see why you wet, are you hurt or whatever. We are crying. And so it is incumbent upon the village officials to see why we are crying for space for our children. We have plenty of space. We are not one of these communities that don't have any land here. We got more land than we can use here. So it's time for us to start using our land. Exactly. And utilize it and living in it. It's just like you got a beautiful house sitting up on the hill. What are you sitting out here watching it? Or when you gonna move in it and live in the house? Well, Riegel Farm is a house. We can't keep watching it. We got to utilize it. And it's the whole property. It was given to you. Somebody gives you a home and you don't want to take care of it. You don't want to keep it up. You want to let your children utilize this beautiful home.
And
right.
this is
what I'm saying. It's not, I'm just saying to make sure that if residents are sending in suggestions, we want to make sure that we're letting the trustees know, hey, this is what they are asking for. If we don't tell them, then they can do whatever they end up doing, whatever they want. I just want to make sure that, you know, that when you do get these suggestions, that we are communicating that over to them. So they won't be like, well, no one told us this. Where did this come from? You know, so I not
only when a good idea, but that's what I intend to do. What I fine. Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but what the information we collect here being in the block club and the people that work with me on this committee, everybody doesn't want to work on this kind of committee, but other people do to do this. So I intend to share it on Zoom, community Zoom, next door neighbor, so everybody knows.
Mhm.
This is not something I intend to put in my desk drawer or in my purse or anything else. I intend for it to get out there. And I tell you, if I said that if there was a cricket crawling on the floor, if I tell Millie, she and I are going to discuss it and argue over it and make sure it's out there, it will get out there. Right, Millie?
Right,
Ever
absolutely.
since she's been here, me and Millie been going back and forth, back and forth.
Mhm.
And
just
go
as
on,
we
hon, I'm sorry.
discussed a little bit earlier, it's imperative that we start that, what Mary is suggesting, this year. We don't have to wait to have Riegel Farm totally renovated. We can get started on doing some things, like Mary and her husband Steve and myself. We took part in having that marshmallow roast. That was fun. We took the tables, put them together. It was raining out there. We had the pit going, and the kids had who was that brought the skews out, you know?
Yeah,
And
we did. The block club brought the skews out.
and we got started on a marshmallow, and these teenage boys came right over, and they had I think they played football or something, and they came right over and in the rain, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So we don't need to have the farm totally renovated, but we want to maintain that interest. We want our children to maintain that interest. And there's a parking lot out there. We can have Easter egg hunts, things of that nature right out there. You know, so we can start utilizing, like Mary was telling me earlier when she and I talked, we need to start utilizing that right now. And the more interest that we and the children start to have in it, then as the money trickles in from Senator Joyce and also Bertina's, you know, then it'll have a better vision of what we can do with it, what is needed. You know, so it's so Mary is just has a wealth of ideas about what we can do, and I love her leadership on this because it gets us started. We don't have to wait. Some people think, oh, well, you know, the farm is all raggedy and dilapidated. Okay, and you know, we still
it's a farm.
Exactly.
Well, the more activity that people see over there, the more they will continue to come. So even last year, just by doing the several things that was done last year, I think they seen some action going on there, which is good. So hopefully they'll be looking forward to some more stuff happening or a repeat of things that happened last year. So all of that is
And
great.
I love the interest that our trustee, I'm sure you guys can see that we have Trustee Brooks that's sitting up listening to us. And he's a wonderful trustee to hear and feel the vibrations of what we want in this community. So he's a better advocate for us. And I love his interest. I love his interest. That's what we need. We need someone that is interested in what we're saying, what we want to do. And
Most definitely.
if you like to say some things, he may or may not be prepared, but if he could just let us know, are we moving in the right direction?
Yeah. Hey, Miss Truss. Hey, Donna.
Hey.
I see Miss Alexander. I see Miss Gina and Reginald. Yeah, I it's interesting. I just hung up with Sonia not too long ago. We were talking about a lot of things, including you, Miss Donna Dilworth. So that's just politics when we get to chatting. But I was listening, and of course, I came in on the tail end of the conversation. But Miss Truss was also, as I was listening to her, it's true. You know, we have so much land that we can build, and so much so much we can do. One thing that I want to make a point that I want to emphasize to you all is that the village, when it comes to the finances and us having a park and rec uh, department, the I want it to be understood that to act, you know, to run that, run a, excuse me, to run a good program, we originally budget $750,000. I think the problem came in, especially when it came to that farm, is just money just was going places that it should not been going. And to even further is that it's almost like any home, if that farm and the money was properly allocated, and you know, like anything, if it was properly maintained, uh, I would just I would say that the farm would be at a better place than what it is right now. I'm not liking the way that Miss E is handling funds right now. I think it's very irresponsible that any dollar we spend over there, that she's not properly using it, whether it's putting on the roof, whether it's coming to any single thing, and listening to Ms. Truss when it comes to really everything over there. I just don't think it is difficult for us to achieve the goal of setting apart money, especially, and this is just me pushing it out there, because my whole intent, if I ever have the opportunity, because we did it before, I don't understand why we can't do it again, that we don't need a park district in order to generate new revenue. And the, you know, if we set aside $750,000 of the money that come your taxpayers' dollars for that year, take it and put it into the development of the farm and the rest of the parks, that what we need to do. What we need is a responsible person who knows how to handle money, and their whole job is to just do their doggone job of making sure we have the right contractor, make sure, because everything that needs to be done at Riegel Farm, in my opinion, is not difficult, such as the courts, although the tennis courts, all those little things, it won't be difficult. And from there, also, I think we still can have those activities that I think I heard someone say, having an Easter egg hunt or something of the sort up there. It's not difficult. The problem comes in is that at least right now, no one is willing, well, the mayor is not willing to submit to that idea. He wants to keep making it seem like it is a lost cause at that farm, in which I personally feel he's all the way wrong with it. Also, other measures can be taken, but I at this point, I do feel that the money that we're generating on taxpayer dollars alone can be spent. And and this is just me. Maybe I'm being, you know, too optimistic about it, but it shouldn't take no more than 6 months. Or at least if you start with any type of construction, let's say hypothetically, if we started on now, let's say around March, I would say no more than July. But we have to have a plan. You know, it definitely we have to have a plan of what we want up there first. But we take the money, we spend it there, and as soon, I mean, it should be the greatest thing to have a grand opening of Riegel Farm, you know, for the residents. I think we would be no later than July, mid-July, for any project that we want to do. It's not hard. People are willing to rehab the barn or do whatever they need to do at the house. And the landscaping, we can do landscaping within a week. You know, we've seen television shows where people do it within 3 days.
That's
So the
right.
landscaping is not an issue. The issue come in is that I personally believe that when it comes down to Riegel Farm, no one wants to go to the reality of what has happened in the past. And the reality is that $750,000 was grossly mismanaged over 5 to 10 years. And the only reason why we had stopped the park and rec was only because we felt that it's better to save it right now for, 3 to 5 years until we, generated more money, and then return back to having a park and rec like we had before. We wanted things in order first instead of making it a line item, in which I'm a little confused here because this board, they were willing to start a emergency management agency, which that costs money, but yet you won't put the money back into park and rec, but yet it's all by design. It was not like I didn't tell this board. It's all by design, and here it is. They take in the money and they ready to make it into emergency management instead of putting it back into the farm or one of the parks. Because what was happening, even like at Craig Park, to say that's private money, you can't tell us what you're doing with taxpayer money. That's part of the problem right now. You taking money and giving it to bonus. There's certain things you can't do with public funds. And why would you switch the money around or actually, why can't you even be transparent about the money on top? Really, to be honest, I just don't get it. But I'm pretty much, like I said, I came in on the back end of what Ms. Truss was speaking of, but I'm totally in belief that, and if I had the power to do it, I believe that we can allocate 700. I mean, we can even go to 500,000 in a year, and that 500,000 can begin with the cost of Riegel Farm, and then we can discuss operational costs of how much it would cost to keep the farm running each year, or how we want to keep it running as far as personnel. But I just don't think it's that expensive. I think it was basically mismanagement that put us in this situation that, that pretty much left the farm neglected, these past 5, what was it, 6, what's it been, 6 years since the last activity in there? I think it was 6 years. Because when I first came into office in 2017, when I went into the house, what I was very angry about is that if no one's in there, why nobody didn't take the time to winterize it so that would be less money we have to worry about. I think it was like the toilets were frozen or something in there, and then, and then I think Keely left documents in there. I think like payroll or something. So yeah, I just
left them sitting in there.
Yeah, just left it sitting. So, and which too, that's almost like a fire hazard. What if something so happened to go wrong? I mean, there you go. You got papers and documents crowded in a room. So that's just my 2 cents of what my opinion. Other trustees may have different, but if we're getting grant plus taxpayer dollars, hypothetically, let's say we get 400,000 plus we budgeted for $500,000. I mean, just picture what we can do in a short period of time. Is that everyone seems to not want to, I hate to say it, but when you have certain trustees that sitting up there and they having a blank mind on everything and don't use, the thought of let's make this work, because I'm not for this, let's build a multi-complex center jive that, we have been listening to lately. No, the money is here. The problem come in is that we're not allocating it properly. And that's just my opinion about it. Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your 2 cents.
Can I say something here too?
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, and they're overlooking and not counting in volunteerism, and they're overlooking the fact that we could go out and get other grants if we are working. There are other grants and things that we can get to fix up this farm.
Amen. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, no,
I
everyone.
mean, there's just money out there for us just because we are who we are.
Right.
And
right,
not, you know, that's my best way of saying that, you know.
right. Yeah. 'Cause
And now, Mr. Trustee Brooks, you know, I have shown you some ideas, a lot of things I've been working on and collecting that we could do for menial things. Like, for instance, I know that most people know that I get up in the morning and go walking and whatever. I know that several people in other parts of the country have gotten up and gotten out there and gotten grants from Blue Cross and Blue Shield for walking trails, because that is the best exercise for seniors.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we had a trail around the golf semi around Riegel Farm. Most people don't know it is there, but Millie, I think you may remember, Steve and I tried to use it, but it's like grown up and whatever, but we could extend that right around. We can sled. How many villages out here have a sledding, a hill to sled off of?
Right. Yeah. Not. No. Not. Well. No. None.
None. Not
None.
out here.
And
Right.
the children went sledding this past winter.
This winter.
This past winter, they were up there on the hill sledding.
Mm.
Now, can I say this now? That's it's open air. The air out there is better for us to utilize it than the air in our homes.
Right.
So now, having said that, the Block Club is planning to have a out of school, end of school bash. We have a back to school bash, but the Block Club is going to have an end of school bash.
Okay.
I'm making that announcement now. The Block Club is going to have an end of school bash at Riegel Farm outside.
What month?
In the month of June.
Mm.
Now, we've not set our date yet because of Juneteenth. We could have something there for Juneteenth as well. Now, I noticed that we did not have, the Block Club did not have that festival that we'd had before this year, and nobody had anything. People on Facebook asking me, what's going on? What did we do in this village for Black History? Huh? What did we do? What do we do for our children since all this pandemic been on? We had car shows, we had parties, we had all these things, but what did we do for our children? And that was outside. So we're having a big bash, out of school bash in the month of June.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the library did have something for the children for Black History. They had 2 nights.
They're the only one that ever had anything. Our government didn't have anything.
No, the government
The
didn't.
library always has something.
Right. I know it's a separate entity, but I mean, it was.
But I'm just saying, we can give them credence because you know they're gonna have something.
Right. We got to give credit where credit is due.
It's
So at
due.
least they stepped up.
Always.
Yes.
But this village didn't do anything. And some of us have lived here when it was virtually all white, and we'd have our mouth stuck out 10 blocks long if we didn't have anything for Black history. And we had all this money flying around this village, and we had all this Carvana and Amazon and all this, and we didn't collect any money to do anything for our children. And I'm insulted. Matter of fact, I'm hurt.
I am too.
So I'm hurt enough to go put this on. Now, I've some of the things I've shared with Millie that I've already got one person that's made a commitment for one thing that we're going to have at the bash. Now, the reason why we have not set a date yet is because the school system, I've contacted the school system does not know the precise date that they will be out of school. because we never know how many dates we have to make up for the snow days.
Mhm.
I have a
But we-
question for
Yes.
Mildred. I have a question for Mary Truss and Mildred Morgan. This is Mary Ann Alexander. I'm very excited
Mary.
hearing, hi, I'm just very excited hearing what you guys are planning and doing. It's gotten me motivated. But my question to either one of you, is there any way that I haven't been over at Riegel Farm since my adult children used to go over there back in the days when you guys children were there. Is there any way that we can go over there and take a peek and look, and I can get a vision of what you guys are trying to do before I have any input? I haven't been over there to see the actual farm itself in ages. So is there any way that, do you go over there? Can you just go over there and look at it, or can someone, you or Mildred, can give a tour, or how does that work? How can I get over there and just look
Now,
at it?
what do you want to look at? Are you talking about the inside of the buildings?
I would like to see the whole barn. I haven't been over there farm in
You can't
ages.
go inside the buildings.
You
It's
can't
pretty
go-
much condemned as far as going in because there's too many repairs and things that are hazard. So you can't enter it, Cookie. You can only just see it from the outside. So there's no
okay.
way to see.
You
Yeah,
know,
accidents waiting to happen.
Okay.
I'm willing to,
There's nothing wrong with taking a ride over there
mhm.
and taking a ride over there and going through the grounds.
Well, that's basically what I was speaking of. I was thinking about going inside the building as well, because I have some ideas. And
No, we
so
can't do
that's
that.
out. Okay, that's out. But I'm very excited, Mary, about what you're doing, as well as Mildred. Mildred's always thinking. And I would love to get involved in this, but I'm a visual person, and I need to visualize and see what I think to add my input. So if I can just see the outside, then maybe, and then I can think better.
Then good. I'll pick you up one
Okay.
day and I'll take you
Mhm.
over there.
Are you
and-
serious? Because Mildred, whenever you want to, I'm just here by myself. So just let me know.
Well,
When-
anytime this week,
Okay, whenever it's available for you.
just get in the car and I could drive you through. We could slow drag through.
That's
going
fabulous. Oh, I would
over
love
by
that,
the-
Mildred. I would
over by
certainly be.
over by the golf court, not golf course, the tennis court. Let you see the condition of the buildings. We can't go in.
No, okay, that's wonderful. I'm very excited, Mary, that you're doing this and you're behind this, and I know it's going to be great because I just know by what I've seen and heard that it will be great. And Mildred, I know you, so whenever you want to come by, I will make myself available to your time because my time will be your time for me to do this.
Okay, well, I'm willing, Millie and I, we're always touring this village here because we love where we live. And so we'll be more than happy to. And I'm more than happy to show you around with Millie, and I'm more than happy to show you by myself or whatever. So we're more than happy to do this.
But whenever it's convenient for you guys, it will be convenient for me. Okay.
Okay.
I
And
thank
you
you.
can bring along anybody else trustee. I know you're very busy. If you're still here, Millie and I'll be willing to take you on tour as well.
Yeah, that's no problem, Miss Truss. Nah, that's no problem. Especially, especially if I'm out there cutting that grass.
Yeah.
He's familiar with him. He's been around. He's been around.
Uh-huh.
I did want to comment on the trail, Ms. Truss. I didn't. Well, I'm glad you mentioned it. That little pathway. I think I mentioned it to you, but I had to be careful because I had mentioned it to. But it was in the past, and for some reason, Arturo Group, the mayor had Arturo Group, I think, try to do an assessment or engineer. They did some type of, I don't know what is it they did recently, but that pathway that's sitting right there in the back of Riegel Farm, that's another thing that I felt that it would not be an arm and a leg to do, but we repave that and mark it just like Chicago has their markings up on their walk path along the lake, where you walk this far, this is a mile, you walk this far, it's a mile and a half, and that I definitely, that is my key vision of that, the walking path, because that was one of the things that really grabbed my attention when I first came here in '89. Is I think I was 15 and 15 turning 16, and I never seen anything like this, where we have so many paths, and that if you just kept walking, you would end up over here by Governor State.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I never seen it where you have path going underground and coming back up. And I would listen to my stepfather talk about how whites were out here, and it'd be late at night, and you have whites and blacks out here walking. But that pathway behind Riegel Farm, that underneath that electrical grid, that's one thing I definitely would love to see get done. And once again, it does not, and I think that is asphalt. I just personally feel that a lot of things we can't get done, which we're not doing it, because you can stripe that. Someone goes to Riegel Farm, and people want to walk. You can stripe that. You can stripe it where a person can walk. What would that be? Western, almost close to Western, all the way.
Now it takes you all the way to Western.
Yes, yeah, and then come all the way back to Blackhawk, and we can make that. I don't know how that would be more than a mile. I would imagine more than a mile walk, but that can be something else we can invest in that I don't think will cost them a lot.
It will not cost a lot. If you get some time, and if you're feeling, I know you've been under the weather, and if you're feeling that, Steve and I would love to walk it with you and show you what the extension of what we can do.
Okay, great. Because that is one of the key things that I feel that needs to be done, a project that definitely needs to be done, that I think would be beneficial to this area, along with taking care of, with Riegel Farm, with the farm itself that I spoke to Sophia about. Because I think we would have a lot of people, I would say a lot of couples. They would come and they would walk up to the farm, and actually, I think that was Miss Millie was one. I think that was in 2017. I was in Karen's car, and that's where when I came, and her car naturally was small enough where we went up in the farm, and I was trying to show Karen. I said, "See, we've been here all this time." I said, I don't think you even knew about this pathway." And so yeah, and I was trying to show her, I think it would be great, couples want to go out at night, because it does have, it's a great scenery, at night, and especially in the morning for just people to walk along that trailway, and hey, they get a chance to talk to each other as they passing by. We take a nice big yellow stripe like Chicago does, divide it in half, going this way, coming back this way, if you know what I mean. Like you say, it's like you can walk in one big circle.
Yeah, and it's also reminiscent of that, is it the 506 trail?
Oh, yes.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yes, that's my vision. That is my exact vision.
Okay, and I would just love to show you how you can bring right at the bottom of the hill, the sledding hill. If you come out of Riegel Farm, when you come down toward that, there's a pavement coming down there, You take that pavement and you go right around the bottom, the outline of the property, and it connects. It's not paved, but it's walkable all the way over there.
Okay.
Okay, now that's what I would, if I got somebody to work with, I'm willing to try to go and get out here, and I'm almost certain that we could get a grant to try to put that walk path in, especially when I tell them the athletes that we have, they can come, they can run that path. We have a school right down here that don't have a lot of outdoor purposes. They can run that path. They've got senior citizens can walk that path. And you can also bicycle it too now.
Yes. And that's the exact vision that I had, of it. But you can't share your vision with everybody, because when I heard that we spent money with the Arturo group, I didn't understand, why did we have to spend money on something that's already there? We just neglected on the really, putting the asphalt down. Because look, I'm being honest, it did not take anything for them to tear up Farmview and put that asphalt right back down, because that's all they did. When I spoke to Darrell said that the way they did Farmview in a day, they can do the bike path and everything, that path, they can do all of that in one day, because the asphalt come up and then put it right
simple.
back down. Yes, right. We don't need engineers for that, paying them $250,000 just to tell us that.
Yeah, we don't need that at all, and especially when it's already there.
Right. I agree.
It's just a repair job.
That's that same $250,000 that we could use, that we're paying the engineers on all these continued projects. If they use that money, like you were saying, for the bike path, all these other paths, even like over by Craig Park have all these paths, over by the pool, the paths, all these different paths we have here in University Park is a lot. And instead of paying them, like you said, the $250,000, put it into the roads.
It's just a waste of money. And we have got to stand up and tell these people this. Now, just, he's not a booger bear. I'm telling him what I want and whatever there. He said, oh yeah, I can see that, Ms. Truss, and we can do this. And he kept expounding on it. He's not trying to beat me down, and I'm not trying to beat him down. I'm listening to him. He got ideas, and I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't know what's wrong with this government.
No, I concur with that. And actually, Donna, if you remember, in 2017, when I first got in, the cost to fix, I think it was, I want to say, not Armstead, Amherst. It was not, I want to say either, it had to be Amherst, from Black Hawk up to that first part with the kids. That was no more than $250,000. I'm just trying to figure out, how did we end up at 600 to $1 million? And I think I seen Arturo Group, we paid them again. 230 something thousand to say we need now that it's 1.3 million to do. Yeah. And I'm confused about it, because it seems like we're bad, we're spending good money behind bad ideas.
Right.
And really, to be honest, I just don't understand what is the purpose of, Arturo Group trying to tell us what to do with a walking path. Right. Because the walking path is common sense.
It is.
And it's so simple, Theo, it's so simple.
Yeah. And a lot of the things, even like what Antero Group is doing now, all these different initiatives that they're working on, this was already done previously. That was in engineering. So we're paying them to do the exact same things.
Right. Yes. This was already part of the comprehensive plan. They're just making money off of us. This is Miss E and her partners from when she was in Ford Heights, and she's bringing them here, and they're all getting fat and living good off the land, while we're still looking here and wondering where our money is going to and why we don't have anything.
they already did these studies. They already looked at the engineers and had the costs, and we're paying them. Y'all agreed to pay them over and over for to do the exact same thing that we was already paid the last engineers for. We're paying this engineers to do the same thing, and then the projects got done.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I have
Same thing.
documentation that shows
Wait a minute.
thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that these people get, and you don't see where it's gone to.
Who's that? They need to mute.
There, I think that's Steve.
Hmm?
Steve in the background.
Yeah, but he's way over on the other side in the other room over there.
But we can hear every word he's saying.
Yeah, sorry,
Steve.
Jen, I didn't mean to mute
You
you.
know you here, that's Marcus, and he's what, way down Champagne. Mark, yeah,
Gina, you can unmute yourself. Sorry.
mute
Just-
myself, okay.
Mute yourself
Okay.
until you get ready to say something.
Go ahead. What was you saying, Gina?
No, I was trying to let them know that I couldn't hear what she was saying because that noise, background noise, was too
Yeah.
loud.
Right.
That's okay.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah,
what we have to do is continue to talk about these things and start really fine tuning them
yeah.
and get some answers, stop some things from happening, continue to gather with people, continue to talk, and all come together so that we can make it a better place to live.
Mhm.
That is so important. It's so important.
It is. I agree. All right.
Mary.
Uh-huh.
I'm not on the phone now.
Okay, Millie. What if you and I live close by here? What if we agree and we're not scared, as Oprah say? What if we volunteer to do field trips with these people to drive them around to do? But I know you are always available, and you said that. But and you said that out there, just show them, because this is an entity that is, it's great. It's what other villages would love to have.
Absolutely.
And we have it here, and we cannot be standing up and letting these people tell us all this ridiculous mess. It's just like Theo said, this is ridiculous.
We have to
This woman took a scraper, $125,000, and she took a scraper and had us out there scraping paint off a building. We kept trying to tell her power wash would have cleaned it off in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when that woman mentioned it to her, she got flipped with her. This Miss E.
I told her as well. I said, this is a better way of doing this. Why are we using scrapers? Why did you buy scrapers for us to scrape paint off when you could use the power washer that the painters use to get the paint off and all the debris and the scrapings off? Oh, no, we're going to do it this way. I said, oh my goodness.
just like Trustee just said, wasting the money. And we keep letting it happen.
And last night, I was outdone, but a lot of it is that I know the right people are listening to prove my point, like with the golf course. When I said why CHW Group is not on the bills payable, either we don't have money or is it because of legal issues? And for her, and I once again, the diarrhea of the mouth was going on, which she let it slip out, and she said, "Oh no, they're contractual, so they're going to get their money." And from my understanding, if anything, CHW Group either got their money already or they picked up that check today.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that means that what else have been going in the rule? There's no need to explain it to her after 2 years. She already know anything over $10,000. I think it was $5,000. The board of trustees has to approve of it. So what else did she spend, and I'm trying to figure out for something as simple as power washing or, the amount of money. I can't comprehend why someone feels it's more important to spend money in all the wrong places. And the truth was last night, what I was trying to explain is that, what I did not calculate was that I know the golf course got $800,000, but I failed to add on to the $128,000 they got last month, which really pretty much put it over, close to the million mark, because we left out the possibilities of what they gave them in November, because I didn't get that one, that bill's payable. But it's just a point that bad money is being poured out, and that's the whole point of me saying that there is no need of another taxing body. We can manage our money. We were going in the right direction. Even with the golf course, they are just managing the golf. They're just managing the facility. They're not leasing it. They're not doing anything. So there was no really true logic last night to even discuss golf carts, because there's nobody out there to be on the golf carts. The golf course has been closed. So imagine that money that we keep giving out. If I'm not mistaken, the golf carts was like at $5,000 a month, if not more. Why are that money could be pushed back towards Riegel Farm. So it's just bad money management all the way around. Even with the animals, I think at one point I discovered we were paying $5,000 a month to the animals that was out in Beecher. So when we sent them out to Beecher for whatever reason, we were giving someone $5,000 a month to continue to feed the alligator, the horses, and everything that was up there, which even makes you say, okay, if we had handled everything correctly, the animals would have never even been left. I mean, and to my understanding is that when the animals were shipped out, that they were being fed poorly. Now, that's what was being told to me when we came to the discussion. I think Manager Pate was in charge at that point. And, I needed clarification. Well, how did it even get this bad? And there was no accountability whatsoever. But I just feel that with simple oversight of how we manage the money, Riegel Farm can be bounced back, in my opinion, 6 months. Because it is probably one of the easier projects that we can take care of. When it comes to talking about fixing up or investing into the area. I looked at the numbers of the census. We don't lost 5% of our population. We at one point we were 8,000. I think we had 6,000, maybe 800. And I can tell you, when I looked even at last election, I would say more than 50% of those who I knew personally had moved from University Park, seniors and young parents, especially from this area.
Trustee, can I ask this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the village's responsibility to pay for those golf carts?
You know what, Miss Millie, to my understanding, that especially when Billy Casper and them were there, that was based upon the managing company. The only responsibility we really have is the building itself. And I think you all didn't get the financial or this quote unquote report that CHW Group sent us. Hold on, let me see. Just hold on 1 second. Let me see if I
Well, I just want to point it out, and maybe there's something that you can check out. But I was talking with someone earlier today, And I was told that it's the village's responsibility to pay for the carts. Also, as I stated in my letter that Miss D did not read, let me ask you, I'm not going to tell you, let me ask you, is the village manager covered by our lawyers to be defended?
For the cases that were here, no, the insurance company is supposed to handle that. But I believe we don't, and actually that was supposed to be one of my questions last night. I don't think we have insurance right now, workers' comp or certain liability insurance.
Because with the sexual alleged sexual harassment, our lawyers defended Mrs. E.
Yes, even in my case.
Monies was paid. My documentation shows me that monies was paid April 29th, 2021. And the lawyers defended her, took care of whatever arguments or paperwork for her pertaining to that sexual harassment. Our lawyers are not supposed to defend management, but our monies is going towards. I'm just further showing how our money is going in the wrong places. And also, if you would just, whenever you get a chance, check and see, because I talked with someone and they said that the village is
I think I lost Miss.
Mildred, you're gonna have to repeat that because we didn't hear you.
Yeah, I think the signal or something dropped. Her voice
Okay,
dropped. But I've still seen her.
that went strictly into Miss Coffey's pocket, that 128,000. I don't understand it, because part of that money is supposed to take care of the hospitality side, but there is no hospitality. There's no staff. There's no food. There's no liquor. So we're really giving this lady a bunch of money that's not benefiting us. When I went into further conversation today about the golf carts, that's when I was told that that's the village's responsibility. So there's a lot of things that is, and it's too bad that D. Jones won't cooperate and give us our foyers, because then we would know.
That's by design.
I know. And
then just like you said, Trustee Brooks, at the meeting yesterday, when she stated that, oh yeah, CHW is not on there, but they're contractual, they're going to get paid anyway. They're not supposed to get paid anyway. It's supposed to be on bills payable, and the board is supposed to vote on it and approve bills payable before she gets paid. So
anything over 10,000.
for her to even agree to say, for her to even say that, and for her to even say that, oh, she's contractor anyway, so she's going to get paid, basically. No, it don't work that way. That's not how you do contract business. If the village decide to not pay them, like has happened before for certain situations, they're not going to pay you this month.
mm-hmm.
So,
well, Donna, it is. Can you hear me, Donna? Am I back on?
I can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. It is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, in any of these situations like that, all those bills are supposed to be, everything was supposed to go through bills payable, whether it's contractual or not.
Absolutely. They've been doing that with her for the past years.
Well,
So
that's not the way it should be working, from my understanding.
Yes, everything's supposed to be on bills payable that's supposed to be paid. And the board has to approve it.
And check numbers too now.
For her to say that, oh, she's contractor, she's going to get paid anyway. That's not right.
I don't know where they learned that from.
Yeah,
that's not what I learned.
Her answer to the question why are you paying half on the bills? That was ludicrous. That was ludicrous. And when I asked about that, they said that that's not happening like that.
Well, what she stated, it to me, it is reasonable because sometimes when you pay the bills based off of when that billing cycle is, I'm not saying that that's exactly what's happening there, but it has happened. I know in my own bills that if the billing cycle, if you don't pay it in enough time before they send out their next bill, they're going to add both of them together, even though you sent in your payment. But the bill was already mailed out. That's why it shows a double. So her statement in that was reasonable, but it shouldn't be like that.
All right, exactly. Because here's what's happening. You're paying your bills late.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be like that because you're paying your bills late. So if you're paying your bills late, if you pay it on time, then it only show what's current due. When you're paying them late, that's why they adding in that one that you haven't paid yet because you're past the due date.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll read this off to you, Miss Millie, and actually, yes, I'm looking. This is the University Park Golf Club and Conference Center quarterly financial summary that was submitted by CHW Group on the 8th of February at about 2 p.m. The total income, as they called it, was funding for a golf course operation, $144,499.98. The funding for the hospitality operation was $9,000. Refund, as they had income, was $2011 dollars. The sales, they said, was $14,393. Total income was $169,000, $169,905.40. And then they went on to the expenses that they said that they spent in reference to our money that we gave them. They said that the expenses for advertising and promotion, and I'll just, kind of round off the number, they said was $13,000. The automobile expenses was $4,500. To be a consultant, it was $5,000. They claimed they fertilized some grass or at least purchased it. They said that was $3,000. Golf course maintenance, $17,800. Management fee, $25,500. Meals and entertainment, this doesn't make sense, but they said it was $100. Then they said office supplies was basically $600. Payroll expenses, they're saying basically $31,000. Professional fees, $6,500. Purchases, don't say what it is, $2,200. Rent expenses, this I'm reading it exactly, $1,666.04. So I'm rent expense. I'm curious, is that in someone's contract or is that someone's, I don't know. That kind of confused me there. They have repairs and maintenance, which that makes me a little curious of, is it the same line as golf course maintenance? But nonetheless, they said that was $13,300. Sure, my eyes here. Wait a minute, because this one here, this got me security. No,
Security.
excuse me. Let me back that one up. Repairs and maintenance was $8,200, but then security, $13,300. So I'm just curious, what security was that expensive? Cameras, what? The telephone expenses was $600. The travel expenses was $6,000. Yes. Total expenses, basically $140,000. They claimed the net operating income was 30,000. Net income was 30,000. So this is what they gave, and I did reach out to Mayor McCowan on this one because I could not believe my eyes when I got this in an email. And this was in response, if you remember, I think this would have been my January board meeting. I think that was the 25th, when I inquired on the amount of money that we're spending. When have we got a report last? And I believe this had to be in response. But what was disturbing, and when I read, asked Mayor McCowan to help, review this for me, I found it interesting in the daily operation narrative that they, when it came to speaking of the amount of money, or it's supposed to be a finance report, one thing he found disturbing, they found it to put it in their business of mentioning DPW and Chief Wilson in this whole financial report.
What?
Yeah. And I'll give you an example. For the monthly operation.
How much was that?
It really, there is no price, but they found it necessary to put, like, I'll read and they're all in bullet points, which, to me, I just believe this has to be something dealing with a legal defense.
What they did was they got paid for going to jail. I mean, they paid for, the village paid for them going to jail.
We paid for them to assault our chief of police.
Yeah, because in October, and this is, to me, I think this is their defense, because here they have, and every time they mention DPW or Chief Wilson's name, it's written in bold type. Like this one says, for October, DPW came to golf course inquiring about tire changer and was informed that the golf course did not have a tire changer piece of equipment on the premises by golf course staff. Now, jump to November, found it necessary to put in this report. DPW returned stating they are there to do winterizing in the basement. They were informed this needs to be scheduled with the village manager and Mrs. Coffey so that all are readily prepared. Then somehow or another, now note, this is her, this is how they writing this. I just thought that was not professional. Then somehow or another, it turned out they were seeking to retrieve a tire changer that was addressed 2 weeks prior to informing Mr. Byther and staff persons that no piece of equipment existed at the golf course whatsoever. The matter escalated into a major incident, resulting into UPPD being called. At this could have been avoided if DPW staff and UPPD scheduled a meeting to discuss the matter to provide clarity. Now note, that was in November. Then to complete this report of all this money that they're spending, they found it to put here, December 16th, incident occurred relating to November 4th incident involving UPPD Chief Deborah Wilson, resulting in unfortunate incident occurring as the matter is currently under review by administration / legal counsel, internal and externally. Now,
That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, Mayor McCowan was like, what did that have to do with over 160 or
That's what I want to know. That's what I
Yeah.
want to know, Theo. What does that have to do with the cost of tea in China?
Yep.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. This is supposed to be a financial agreement with you that they need to be discussing. This does not have anything to do with that.
Right. And to be honest, not to dive into the golf course and with Chief Wilson's investigation, but I'll say this much. I had an opportunity, well, I can say this because it's not part of the investigation, but I finally seen the video last week of what happened to Chief Wilson. And I'm trying to figure out if we can forward it from the state's attorney office, but I love Debbie Wilson. Her and I, we were partners on a lot of our off-duty jobs. And I would say I've never seen Debbie lose a fight. In fact, one time I was losing a fight because the subject was bloody and my handcuffs would end up missing. And Debbie, I'm telling you, it was a sight to see Debbie come around the corner and pick up a grown man off the ground like he was a baby, handcuff him and take him. And she turned and said, Theo, are you okay? I said, outside of being bloody from him, I'm fine. Now,
that's one strong woman.
She's one.
Ask me, I know.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, Millie, and every lady, and actually it's all women on here, and I see Reggie on here. If you've seen this video, I was so furious, I stormed out of Village Hall. Debbie Wilson was attacked.
Wow.
She was attacked. That woman signaled for a guy big as Reggie to come and basically try to stop Wilson from following Coffee into that office.
Wow.
And it should have never happened. If that tape makes CNN or anyway, I would say somebody on the board would be called for resignation because Chief Wilson should not be sitting at home right now. This is all manufactured, and to me, in my opinion, it's official misconduct somewhere down the line. To me, this seems like they're trying to get a story together to justify what you all will be seeing. I'm sure you're going to see it eventually on tape in the near future.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find out how to get it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna see. I'm gonna ask Chief Wilson if will the state's attorney release the tape? But I can tell you what the village have and what we've seen. I've seen two angles. The closer you get into that office, the more angry you all gonna get. Is when you see this. Chief Wilson was manhandled, and I don't even know why the second guy wasn't placed into custody. And it should have never happened. I was upset. Last night was my prime. It would have been a prime opportunity when we get an executive session. I was going to let loose because she should not. And here's the other problem I have with it. The video, they did say that they claim that it's part of what she supposedly did wrong. What I noticed is that the video did not do the village any more justice. It really didn't.
Right.
It really made us look stupider. I don't know if that's the word, Miss Truss.
You got to use it for this administration. Sometimes you got to use some of those type of words.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're sitting there with a phone, recording Chief Wilson doing her job. You have an officer sitting there explaining the whole situation, and I'm gonna save the words that the gentleman said, but he made that golf course company look dumb.
Yeah.
But in both videos, I'll say this much: who shows up at the scene? The mayor.
Yep.
We know both times he showed up.
He did.
And what does he have to do with that? He's not in law enforcement, can't spell it. And
justice and looking dumb.
just dumb. And he can't, he's not in the golf course other than swindling. So what was he there for?
Right. Yeah. The one gentleman clearly said, he said, who's this right here? And he says, oh, here go the mayor right here. Here you go. And then all of a sudden the video cuts off. But it was too late because the guy got his face.
Mm-hmm.
And the second video was no different than the first, except, you know, she did not do any damage. I took pictures. I went over there and did my thorough investigation. But the video that will make you all, and when you see it, just be prepared to be very angry, very, very angry. They shoved Chief Wilson so bad that door bit backwards.
Dang.
Wow.
That's a dirty shame.
That is.
They
I
kicked her
agree with
butt.
you. That's right.
They
Yeah.
kicked her butt. And she's a strong woman. I'm telling you. She hauled my big butt up out of right out of 90 Town Center. Had me up under my arm.
Really, you was in that Indian squat.
No, that was another situation.
Oh, that was another one. Okay.
Prior to that, when she told me to leave, the mayor wants me to leave. I said, I ain't going nowhere. She said, Miss Morgan, come on, leave. I said, me and you gonna be dancing in the middle of that camera. Right, I was sitting down. She right away grabbed me under my arm, and I'm big. I was bigger then. She grabbed me under my arm, lifted me up, and hauled me. We talking about haul. I'm on my tiptoes. And this woman hauled me out of 90 Town Center and threw me out. Me and her laugh about that right now today.
Yeah. But if it's any compensation, I'll say this. The one guy was pretty big like Reggie. The second guy was about my size. And then you had Miss Coffee shoving at her. So the part that what it was is that Wilson did not have her radio. So she had her phone calling for help. So really she had one hand trying to do her job while the phone was in the other. And they took disregard of her status, you name it. When you look at it, you're not gonna like it at all. To be honest, I'll let you all call for who should be, resigning. But I know if I was the leader of this village, I would not have allowed that to happen. It was very. The third, I don't understand why the second guy was not charged, because it was total obstruction. And when you look and see what Sonia Coffee hand does, she signaled like, come over here, like come around because she catches them as you come into the golf shop. And Coffee basically, you can tell Wilson must have been telling her like, look, and she's very diplomatic. We know Wilson, she's diplomatic. And you can see her trying to be diplomatic with Coffee. You can see Coffee getting all worked up, and you can see her trying to make her way. And and Debbie can kind of feel something bad is about to happen. And that's when she starts looking down at the phone. And when Coffee signals for that gentleman to come from around behind Debbie, it was because Debbie's head was down, dialing, I guess, whoever. And that's when they get her in that doorway, and it's the doorway that will upset you. You can see them shoving Wilson back against the door, you name it. And the camera inside the office does it no justice whatsoever.
Right.
It was even a worse angle to look at. Right. And I don't know why this company is still here. I was trying to wait until we find, I want to know. I asked for the complaint. I haven't seen a complaint. Who's the complainant on the officer? Every officer has the right to have a complainant. It could not be Miss Coffee, but Miss Coffee, because Miss Coffee was in custody. Mm-hmm. And it can't be Miss E, because that's a conflict, because Miss E was, first of all, if it was on the 4th, Miss E was on suspension. So it
right.
could be on the 4th, And if it's of this day in question, the question comes in is, why did Miss E put her on leave without a legitimate charge? What was your charge?
Right.
And yeah, and I do have it on the phone record. I called her. I was, out of the hospital, and I got a phone call saying, "Hey, they're trying to walk Chief Wilson out the door." And when I picked up the phone, I left with a witness. I called Miss E and told her, "This is Trustee Brooks." I said, please tell me it's not true that you're putting Chief Wilson on leave when you have no idea if there's an investigation at that golf course. Because Chief Wilson went up there to identify, her the state's attorney.
Right.
Because no one has information on Miss Coffey. We don't really know who Miss Coffey is still.
We still don't. I Googled her name.
Yeah, there's nothing on her. And you as the taxpayer, somebody you don't know,
is paying your money out to her.
Yeah.
Right.
$6,000.
And they're making sure that they pay her. That's the problem. They're making sure, minus anybody else, that she gets her money every month.
Right.
Wow.
Because when she gets her money, Joe is getting his cut. Believe
All the stuff
that.
that's going on, and they're making sure she gets her money every month, and nothing's going on there. So that tells you something right there.
It's the same thing that went on between him and Johnny Townsend. It's the same thing. Only this is at a much greater magnitude.
Wow.
Yep. So so yes, I was trying to save it for last night to have a discussion with these trustees, and I'll still stand by, to my understanding, the trustees supposedly, I can't say who, but they are hesitating. But the question, they cannot say they are in full awareness of what happened at the golf course. They can't say they are not in full awareness of the fact that she's taking money, that they are public officials, and that they should know that you're being looked at this point of what course of action have you taken since you have known that this lady has committed a crime, and she has committed a crime, but you in full aware that she's committed a crime, and you're allowing her to investigate your chief law enforcement officer of the village, who is on video that you finally seen last week get beat up. Well, I wouldn't say beat up, but they got the upper hand on her. And what are you gonna do?
And 2 people were indicted. What does that tell you?
Right.
Maybe because they went to the golf course as well.
Yes. Three of them. Yes. Yeah. The mayor and 2 trustees were at the golf course on that day of the 16th.
Right.
4 blind mice.
Yeah.
This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic.
The blind leading the blind.
Yes.
That's why
say that again, Theo. It was the
glasses.
mayor and what? Mayor and how many?
It was
the mayor, Miss E. Shirley, and Karen Lewis.
Yeah. And my statement to them, and this is the part that I got upset. Well, I didn't get upset, but I just kind of smiled and said, look, I'm a legislator. Erase the fact that I was a detective. Erase the fact that I'm a police officer. Let's say I'm a legislator who is representing the people with a moral compass of right and wrong. And you look up, and on the 23rd of December, all of a sudden, here comes someone who has been fired,
Big Bradley.
Yeah.
Got a lawsuit in.
He's doing everything. Just had, the trustees already said no to him about being the chair of the Police and Fire Commission at least twice. And for whatever reason, you keep shoving it down our throat. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously on the 23rd of December, I said I know my fever was not that bad. I know I had a 101 fever. I popped them two a Tylenol, but I had enough sense to know that you do not replace good with bad.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened. And the people who voted for the appointment to be made should have abstained their vote for the fact that they were at the golf course.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't the other trustees, they have no shame? How do they feel? How can they actually sit up there and realize what's happening?
Exactly.
How do they feel? I mean, they don't say anything. I don't understand it. They should have shame. Wow, this is
Right.
this is
And two women, Cookie. How can we as women see another black woman get abused
Absolutely.
like that,
Absolutely.
and then we sit there and say nothing?
both eye.
We'll say.
You know, that's ridiculous. You know what? We already have a mayor here. We got the trustees. Too bad we just can't take over and just take this over. We've got a Mayor Brooks. We got the trustees, you ladies. Too bad we aren't on this thing.
We got
the new village manager on the call, Donna Dillard. We got Stars the clerk.
I'm telling you, this is a shame, you guys. This is really a shame. And we still got these same trustees and the same mayor. And we were sitting here, especially with the police chief. She is the only representative of University Park that gives this community dignity and class.
Amen. Amen.
And what are we doing here? We're letting her go by the fire. This is a serious matter. This is a serious matter. And we've got to do something. And Trustee Brooks, I admire you, but sometimes you have to get in those trustees' faces because aren't they aware? What about?
Yes,
They have
are.
no shame. They have no shame.
Yeah.
And there is no shame in what they've done. But see, they have probably drank from the cup too. If you have drank from the cup too, and you are afraid that I will tell that, well, you had some of it too. See, that they be incriminated too, as well. Now, if you're going to keep up, if you want to join, what was the senator's name who joined?
Patrick Joyce.
Cullington? No, Cullington.
Oh.
The state senator, Cullington. Didn't they carry him out, or didn't they? He had to resign.
Yes, he did. I think he had to resign.
Because the FBI has arrested him. Now these people gonna sit up there and join Cullington.
Well, and you got to look at the Detroit mayor, Kilpatrick. Look at how much stuff they found on him. I came across that article about a day or two ago. He was supposed to serve 28 years, but this goofy Trump gave him a pardon. One crook doing another crook a favor.
I saw that, Gina. You're right. Yes, he sure did.
But this is downright crazy. And we sit here as University Park residents paying these taxes. You see why I'm saying I don't want to pay another dime in tax. I don't want, I want us to have these things like with Riegel Farm and the children have something to do. I want that. But I don't like living in shame. And when I moved here, I didn't move here in shame. And this is a shameful village. I mean, it's so volatile here.
What worried me, and I'll say, Miss Alexander, I will say, yes, ma'am. It's not, if anything, I will tell them, Trustee Jenkins Bell, she was here right now, she'll tell you, Theo done spoke Chinese, Spanish, the gospel, the Holy Quran, Greek. He spoke every language to tell them from right and wrong. And not only that, the lawyers have even confirmed what I said. And two things happened that I didn't like that was said. Three things in which it probably, you might have caught it on the 23rd of, the 23rd of December meeting when we came out, and I made the comment, what happened was it got so ugly, curse words were blaring at each other.
Like the old days.
Yeah, it got ugly because I was told, one, I was scaring the trustees. I was not telling the truth. I'm trying to scare the trustees into voting my way. The second one was, this one upset Sonia. I got called a wannabe mayor. Don't listen to him. He's just a wannabe mayor. And then
You should want to be mayor. You should. There's nothing wrong with that.
We don't want this jackass to be it no more.
Thank you. So if they say you want to be a mayor, you just say, yes, I do.
I would have said, you're doggone Skippy. Let me use your word, doggone. You're doggone Skippy, I do.
Right. And then the last one, which I thought was absurd, and no, we can imagine who was saying all this to me in closed session. And the last one, he said, I helped Vivian steal $42 million in 2 years. So by that time, what happened was, because the subject came off of Chief Wilson and the situation just so happened, that's how you all caught the tail end of it, is when we were back and forth, because I told him, you were here. You the one should have stopped it if you seen $42 million mismanaged. I said, anyone that allows 42 minutes mismanagement, you've been on the board since 2005. Can't you count?
Okay.
And, that was when the exchange in some way, somehow, I don't know how we ended up back in regular session, but just so happened, you all caught the tail end, and that's why they kept trying to tell us to calm down and close the meeting. But it's just, I thought that it was ignorant, but then the next meeting, you hear all this, oh, you know what, last time things got ugly, let's try to work things out. No, because you're doing the same thing.
Right.
At the end of the day, this lady is still going to be here. The police chief is off. CHW Group is getting paid hand over fist.
Getting over on us.
Yes, and nothing's changing. So why would you expect at least, the trustees to give in to you because you nicer, and then curse at or accuse somebody of doing something wrong, when at the end of the day, the whole board is going to have to answer to why this chief has been off for no reason.
For no reason.
Because at this point, it does look like I made the comment, and Trustee Jenkins Bell, she was correct. This is a RICO case because you have one individual hiding behind a group of individuals to do some things. Now, you can't, and this the stupidity of it. The one individual, he's still responsible for everything that happens. And at the end of the day, Chief Wilson should not have been battered the way she had. And all she went up there to do was to find out a birthday.
That's it. And the woman still lied and gave the wrong birthday.
Yep.
Ooh-wee.
There's a reason for that.
Only in UP, I tell you.
There's a reason for that, Gina.
Oh, I know it. That's because she don't want nobody to know her true identity.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes, of course. She's not going to give out the correct information. You being a crook and getting this kind of money, you ain't going to tell nobody. She ain't even going to give her maiden name to anybody.
But what we know,
she too busy saying it's gold in them there hills. I ain't never lived this good before. Stay, please.
What is the
I think that was some holiday sauce.
What is the position of the lawyers? They shouldn't know all of this. What are they saying?
Well, I can tell you now, what our favorite Mr. Miller, naturally, him and I objected, and I guess,
They didn't get rid of him.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that the black lawyer? Is that the?
Yeah, that's why he ain't all there no more. That Wargo or whatever that man's name, they done got rid of Joe Miller.
yeah.
They like, oh yeah, you starting to change up on.
Yeah, something was written. Yeah, it happened after something was written in during public comments, because I know when he called me to schedule to look at the video, he said, Trustee, I just want to clarify, first of all, there was no conflict of interest. I didn't know this, I didn't know that. I just told him, look, man, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
He's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that, I have not spoken to him since. I just know I got one email from him where we were told to show up to look at the video, and that was the day that we knew we were going to go into closed session to deal with the village manager. And next thing you know, the meeting was canceled.
Yeah, that poor soul, he tied up in a closet somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And the head boss, naturally, we haven't seen him.
Nope.
Everyone who's seen that video will say Chief Wilson did nothing wrong.
Right.
Everybody who's seen the video.
But what we gonna do about it? But what we gonna do about it?
Exactly, Mary.
I think at this point, and I honestly thought yesterday would be the day that she would return, because everyone should have seen that video. What I did notice is that it was told that before I seen it, that only 2 people actually had signed up to go see the video. So that I found that disturbing. Like, okay, who doesn't want to find out what really happened on December 16th?
Right. They just trying to prolong it so she can get more money, honey.
Right.
Shirley and Karen Lewis don't want to see it because they were there.
Shirley and Karen Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they done seen it already. They was right there.
They were right there obstructing justice.
Yeah. So, I just know that from this perspective, I do know that there is no justification what happened at this point, especially after showing this video. And I don't know who demanded to see the 16th of December video, but they have prolonged that as well. Everything was prolonged to, and I don't understand unless, and in which, to me, in my opinion, as a detective, they're digging, and they're digging for the sake of the village manager, in which I still feel that the investigation is biased in the first place, if it was even a investigation, because how can the village manager be your complainant and investigating? And not only that, but I found out there's a lawsuit that an officer had told me about. I'm gonna see if I can find anything on it, that apparently this is not her first go around with being a problem with police officers.
Mm-hmm.
In towns that she managed. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's huge right there. We need that information like yesterday.
Yeah, it happened in Robbins. I got a call.
I was just going to say something happened in Robbins, and I tried to inquire about it. I think I got a little too close, but all of a sudden, all my information just dried up. Folks won't even return my calls anymore.
Really? What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
What about her contract? It ends the 24th.
Today.
Today,
So
the
what you
20th.
gonna do now?
Today's the 23rd.
Yeah. Well, to my understanding, the contract states that, and I guess the way it's worded, and when we spoke with attorneys, that it would be 30 days. Like if we don't, a notice would be written. But in my eyes, see you later.
Can't you, Trustee Brooks, can you and the other trustees, if you all could get together and just push her out, or I know that's not a good term to use, but to get her out yourselves? I mean, you all are the back.
Cookie, he don't have the numbers.
No, but
Yes.
no, I realize it's just him and trustee, the other lady. But couldn't you talk to the trustees and just say, listen, we've got to get rid of her? And do you have the power to, if you all got together, to make her leave?
Yes. Well, let me tell you what happened. I was very close to it last month. And this is my frustration. Um, I had three trustees, because all it takes is three to call a meeting, special meeting. Got to a fourth trustee, and F trustee was like, you know what? Yeah, I understand. Let me get back with you. And I took it based upon even the conversation that, they were kind of tired of what's going on. And when the time came to, because the clock was ticking, I was trying to get it done get a special meeting done like on a Sunday or Monday. I didn't care. She needed to go. That's the state we're in. My opinion, she needs to go like tomorrow, no matter
Yeah.
what. You cannot let someone steal because if they steal in they line.
Right.
Now, if you're lying, you're stealing.
Yes. And this trustee sent me pretty much got back with me and said, nah, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I want to see video of what really happened, blah, blah, blah. And even then, I feel that they're like you said, they drink from the cup, you know. It was a stall. It was like they were stalling, like they don't want to disappoint the mayor.
So
And
trustee Brooks, you're telling me, am I understanding you correctly? You are telling me that if there are three trustees, you guys could tell the village manager that she has to leave. Is that what you're
Now,
saying?
you need four,
we need
because
four, but
he's gonna go with him. He's gonna
right.
vote with the,
So you have,
he can be-
how many do you have now, trustee? You just,
I have three. It takes three. It takes three to call a meeting, but you need four to fire her. And the fourth one, they bailed on me.
okay, so what we could do as a group, I certainly will, I don't know who I'm going to just call all the trustees tomorrow, excluding you, and ask them why, because if you only need one more.
Yes, they'll listen to you, Cookie. They won't listen to us.
I will, because if you just need four, if you could email me or tell me something about who I need to work on, because if that's all it takes is one more person.
Yes.
Oh gosh, that could happen. Yeah, and she could be gone. You just need one more person, right?
You probably can guess who it is.